Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And thank you so much for joining me right now. If you're joining me live, welcome to the show. And if you're joining me on replay, happy replay day to you as well. We're live right now. I'm excited to welcome you to today's live level up conversation.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Award-winning financial pro. Get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends. I'm Winnie, your host, Forbes contributor, CNBC council member, and award-winning financial pro, here to keep you on top of relevant, trending business news. But as you know, what makes this show special is that you're actually joining me live. And so we're going to be monitoring your comments throughout the show. So don't be shy. Definitely jump in. Let me know where you're joining me from, how you're feeling today. And, I want to know, like, are you looking forward to the July 4th weekend as well? Now, let's talk about how the market closed. We always start at that. The Dow closed down, unfortunately, down 491 points, and it continued because earlier today the market was actually up. Well, they closed down. Nasdaq closed down also 343 points. S&P 500 also down 78 points. We continue to monitor this very carefully and wondering when the bottom is actually going to hit. I've been hearing a lot of people saying, like, are we near the bottom yet? Is it going to be? Is it a level where I can start buying? We've been hearing a lot about that, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like the volatility is going to end anytime soon. We see across the board, things were getting a little bit better earlier in the day, and it closed negatively on all three indices. Now, on the topic of trending, and I really want to talk about this because on LinkedIn does a wonderful job in terms of talking about certain trending topics. And I want to share with you a few. I share a lot of them with you each and every day. But Airbnb has talked about this new rule that they are basically solidifying, you should say, today. This was announced today, and you'll see the article being shared on LinkedIn as well. Airbnb will now be a place that you will come to sleep, but not party forever. Because Airbnb has formally announced that their temporary global ban on parties and events that was actually announced in 2020, just 2 years ago, now is going to be permanent. This is now the new Airbnb law. There are no more open inviting gatherings, no more house parties, things like that, no large events. And as you know, in 2020, this was instituted because of the pandemic. A lot of people were looking for a place to party and spend time, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case anymore. And since they implemented this new policy in August of 2020, Airbnb says that they reported that they've seen actually a 44% drop in reports of partying taking place. So they think this is definitely a good thing. I'm interested to see how you feel about that. First of all, have you rented an Airbnb lately? I actually have. It's been a great experience. And number two, how do you feel about them saying, well, you can rent the place, but you can't rent it to party? Personally, I think that's fair. If I was a homeowner and I was renting out my home for Airbnb, I would like that, right? I think it makes the discussion a lot easier if it comes from corporate versus the individual homeowner that's on their platform, this Airbnb platform. So curious to see what you think. Want to take a moment and just welcome. I see so many friends here. Cross-X Fighter Joshua, it's great to see you. Vicky, it's great to see you. We see a lot of following today from LinkedIn Live, from Facebook Live, from YouTube Live. It's great to have all of you joining me. Now, this topic I thought was really interesting. Now, we've talked about work from home for quite a long time. This is a big, very, very popular topic on all the business platforms, and certainly LinkedIn is trending on LinkedIn today, is work from home. So what do you think about this? There's a report that came out that says that the concept of working from home actually saves businesses about $200 billion. This is a big deal. In fact, Maria, she's an editor at LinkedIn News, she's saying that remote work is a concept that could potentially help us mitigate inflation. It was an article that was mentioned also in Bloomberg, but talking about, well, if we're letting you work from home, your employees work from home, then they said they expect and they've seen that employees are willing to take less of a pay hike, less of a raise, if you give them the flexibility to continue to work from home. So I'm curious to see, for those of you who are joining me, number one, let me know, are you working from home currently? I currently actually am working from home and joining you here. And number two, if you are working from home or you like to work from home, would you be comfortable with less of a pay raise if you were able to continue to work from home? Really interesting question. This was actually sent from an article that was shared from Bloomberg. This is a trending topic on LinkedIn today. I want to hear from you and see how you feel. I know, we know that a lot of people enjoy working from home. The pandemic has certainly illustrated that. And in fact, there's a study that came out just recently from McKinsey called the American Opportunity Survey that actually showed that, believe it or not, 92 million people here in the United States now have the option to work from home remotely, at least part-time, and a large percentage full-time. In fact, 58% of those surveyed said that they are able to work from home at least part-time. That equates to 92 million people. That's a lot of people. And 35% actually said they had the option to work at home full-time. So if you follow this direction, you're saying, number one, you're going to have the option to work from home. Number two, you're willing to take a lesser raise if you get to stay at home. But taking that lesser raise also will help mitigate the price of goods, inflation, because you're making not as high of a raise, therefore you're not spending as much, therefore the cost of goods, won't escalate as high. It's sort of that trickle down cycling effect. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I want to hear from you. Number one, do you get to work from home full time? Do you get to work from home part time? And do you think that this is going to make a difference for our economy? Really, really interesting. So I want to share some comments that are coming from Tedra sharing. So Tedra is working from home, and that what you're saying makes sense. I would take less raise to save on gas and buying lunch. So two really good points. You certainly save more on gas, right? You certainly save more on lunch. I would think so. So some of I used to have to go in the office all the time too. And let's be honest, in the financial industry and a lot of other industries, that also means dry cleaning costs, right? And certainly gas prices, which you mentioned is a good point. But let's also mention, if you drive less, that also means you can probably reduce the amount that you pay in car insurance as well, right? Because it's based on how many miles you drive each year. Not to mention the time loss away from your loved ones, right? The risk that you're increasing because you're going all over the place. There's a lot of benefits I can see from working from home, but also some benefits of having that hybrid approach. So for those of you like Tedra who are working from home, do you prefer completely work from home, or do you prefer the hybrid approach? I kind of like the hybrid approach, but I would like to see what you think on that. Let's see. So Joshua CrossFit Fighter says they've had some thoughts about working from home and wanted to see how it would feel. Honestly, I never thought I would enjoy working from home, but actually I quite like it. It's kind of nice to have the kids at home, and you will juggle between work and family. It's kind of interesting. I don't know how it will be long term, but hopefully this is a trend that at least gives employers more options. So the survey also found that, given the choice, 87% of employees said that they would embrace the opportunity to work remotely and spend at least 3 days a week working from home or remotely, which is really interesting because I think, throughout the pandemic, we've sort of been introduced to the concept of working from home. We've sort of realized that it can actually be normal. But as things get and progress and get better with the pandemic, it'll be really interesting to see that not only will you be working from home, but maybe working at more remote places, taking your work on the road, vacationing, making more of truly embracing work-life balance and a different definition of work looks like. I think I think that we would actually enjoy work a little bit more. And perhaps this would solve some of the issues that we're seeing that came from the pandemic on issues such as, a lot of people obviously contracted COVID, which we know has the potential to give you long COVID and sort of the long term health issues. Also, a lot of people, some people lost their jobs and were having financial troubles and therefore hadn't saved as much as they wanted to for retirement. So, talking about having to extend that true full retirement age from a social security standpoint as well as retirement and pension standpoint. So if that's the case, perhaps if we enjoy where we work, enjoy the freedoms of being able to travel and work, perhaps working longer could help solve a couple big issues that we have here in the country, which is obviously a shortage on some of the social benefits like Social Security, and obviously recession and having enough to cover our future retirement and what that looks like. And if we have to work longer, maybe at least this will make it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit enjoyable. And yeah, I see that. John is saying currently working from home, usually at my office January to April. So, John, curious to see, since you currently work from home or usually you're in your office January to April, now why is that? Has that changed? Do you think that will change going forward? Really curious to see how you answer to that question, John, and others as well. In my industry, certainly it's always been very important to spend those hours in the office, working with your team, seeing eye to eye, having those discussions, meeting with clients. I never thought we would literally have so much productivity of us all working independently at home. But do you miss, because I actually really do miss seeing my team and spending time, but I really love my team. I really miss spending some time with them in person as well. I don't think we'll ever go back to full time in the office again, but I do think the sort of that hybrid approach, a few days in the office, a few days out of the office, makes a lot of sense with sort of that continuation of having respect for your employees' downtime. When it's downtime, when they check out, when they go on vacation, I'm a big believer that you should allow them that time and you shouldn't bother them and ping them. You should let them. That's a big thing in my book and with our companies. In fact, we want to make sure that we protect and give our employees that quality of life. So curious to see how you feel. And if you didn't check that out, those are some of the trending topics that I saw on LinkedIn today, as well as on Google News and on for CNBC and everything else. But with that, we will have more to share with you again tomorrow. I believe we are going to be back with Greg for In the Loop. So hopefully I'll catch you there. But thank you so much, my friends, for watching, supporting this program. Do me a favor, take a moment to share this show with someone that you care about. Share it on social. And as a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, the KBCW, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And we're excited to share also that Yes Factor, our brand new podcast, is on the LinkedIn Podcast Network and pretty much everywhere that you tune into podcasts. We have new episodes generally every Wednesday. We'd love to get your feedback on those and see if you enjoy those as well. And with that, can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Be well. Take care.